Thank you, Dr. Gist, members of the board, members of the cabinet, members of the community. Taking this budget survey was personally painful for a lot of people, myself included. I go back 50 years with Tulsa Public Schools as a student, a teacher, a parent, and a teacher advocate. Many of those years were the best of times, but this is the worst of times. I heard from teachers who took the survey through tears and with churning stomachs, and who threw up their hands and said, "I'm not doing it, I'm not making these horrible choices." So we truly understand how difficult these recommendations are for district leadership, and we understand that no one is celebrating right now. Emotions and opinions have been strong. There has been a tendency to circle the wagons and shoot inward, but this is not the time for that. We are under attack, and we need to focus on who the true opponent is, our own state government. The citizens of Oklahoma had an opportunity to show their support for public education last November. They could have voted in a 1-cent sales tax that would have brought millions of dollars into our schools, and they could have elected a whole slate of educators, the teacher caucus, who would have acted as our advocates, our guardians, and our gatekeepers. But the citizens said no. There has to be a better plan. I support schools, but voting for the party is more important than voting for the individual. So here we are, and things are even worse than they were before. We are in the deep end of the ocean. So what do? We know that in times of stress, humans turn to fight or flight. In my lifetime, I've watched most people respond to turmoil in Tulsa Public Schools with flight. They fly to the suburbs, they fly to the charters, they fly to private schools. If this school district is to survive, there can be no more flight. The time has come to fight. A city is only as strong as its public schools. So Tulsa is on the ropes, and it will take all of us working together to come back swinging. How do we fight? We become familiar with our state legislators. We make sure they know our name and that we live in their district and that we vote. We put their phone number and email address in our contacts, and we communicate at least weekly, if not more often. We tell them the names of our students and our children, and we tell stories about those children. We make it personal. We invite them to our classrooms to meet the children and to our PTA meetings to meet the parents. For those buildings without a PTA, invite them to coffee along with other parents and teachers from your area. Introduce them to your custodian and your lunch lady and your TA and your para. One of my predecessors as TCTA president always used to say, everything's political except politics, and that's personal. That's right. When it's your student, it's personal. Yep. When it's your child, it's personal. Yep. When it's your paycheck, it's personal. We must make it personal to our legislators. They need to hear our stories, see our children, and know beyond any doubt that we are holding them accountable for the future of our children, our schools, and our city. We must be impossible to ignore or to write off as those whiny teachers who don't vote anyway. This is our call to action, our last stand. If we can't save Tulsa Public Schools now, we may not be able to save it ever, and that's personal.